Hi, we're our group. We're Reach Out, and we're looking at the issue of homelessness within the city and ways to reach out to the homeless community. So I suppose, first of all, I have a simple question to ask you. I mean, what would you do if you woke up in the morning and found yourself homeless? I hope it's not a situation any of us is facing, but we feel there's a lack of information about services in Dublin about homelessness. So who would you go to? So we have two aims. The first of all is to sort of try and provide information about services for the homeless population in Dublin. But the second aim and the main aim, as we sort of, that was our initial aim, but we sort of realised that there is such a lack of information just amongst the general public about the issue that became our main aim, to raise awareness about the public. And with the theme of Hack the City, we came up with the idea that we could repurpose something in the city, and we came up with the idea of repurposing the new Dublin bus electronic signboards to display information about homelessness. And so once we came up with this idea, we sort of had to come up with what would we put on the boards and sort of what were the issues involved. So to do that, we first of all conducted an interview with Aoife O'Toole, who works for Cross Care Ireland, who's a leading homeless service provider in the city. And Nicola's going to talk about that.
When I met with Aoife, she assured me that there was no shortage of services for the homeless in Ireland, in Dublin. And then she informed me of the central placement system in Capel Street and a free phone number that's available for you if you need to call to be allocated accommodation. And then she came up with them two pieces of information that should be displayed, and then in the central placement system, they are connected with all the other bodies in Dublin, so then they can provide services. And the other thing that we realised with our interview with Aoife was that there was major drawbacks in this, in that we made the assumption that if you were homeless that you would look up at the screen, and also the fact that people may exploit the services. So they were things that we had to take into consideration. And then we decided that we'd do a survey on the general public to see what their awareness was of the homeless problem in Dublin. And then,
okay, so we all decided that a good way to try and kind of, I suppose, gauge what the actual awareness of the public was to carry out an online survey. So that's what we did. We carried out a survey online, and there was, I think, almost 200 people responded to that survey. We asked questions such as, are you aware of the central placement system on Capel Street? Are you aware of the free phone number? And the results were kind of frightening, to be honest. I think it was 87% of people were not aware of the central placement system.
91.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry about that. 91.5% weren't aware. And what was the 80? Was it 80? 96% then weren't aware of the free phone number, which we all thought was quite alarming. So from there, we kind of decided that it was definitely worth more focusing on the kind of awareness point of view rather than the actual communication of services, because that seemed to be kind of pretty okay. So actually, one more question that I asked in the survey was, I gave a list of options. Like where people would kind of look if they were homeless to look for information, and there were numerous options from by word of mouth, notice boards, from the radio or television. And I'm just going to read out a quote. I hope you don't mind me reading it out. One person was quoted saying, "If I was homeless, I don't see how I would hear of anything through radio or television. There is a possibility I would hear about it through charities, etc. I would imagine I would have to walk the streets looking for food and shelter, so the electronic screens would be the best answer."
Right. Having decided that we would display information about the central placement system, we just did a few mock-ups of what the stuff would look like on the signs. Obviously, the signs are in use during the day, so the big issue was whether to flash up the information on the signs for a short period of time, or simply to have the information scroll across the bottom, as current information is currently displayed on the signs, and leave the normal slots for the timetables. So to go forward, what we would need to get support from Dublin City Council and Dublin Bus to approve our project, and and to work with the engineers responsible for the signs, and to work with homeless service providers to make this part of a wider campaign of awareness about the issues. So thank you very much for your time.